How y'all doing? Um, I am so glad to be here, man. Believe it or not, I grew up about 2 miles down the road. You take a right, take a left out of the parking lot, a right on 12, another left, and the first right, less than 2 miles. That's where I grew up at. And so I'm but I've never been on this road before. I've never been up in here, but I just thank God that I'm here to tell my story. My story is a long journey. It's probably about a 40-something year journey of a guy that did everything that he could not to be that guy. And I thank God for it, though, but he made me that guy. A lot of times life pushes you up in the front to do the things that you got to do. So I'm right here right now to talk to you about how God and life just pushed me to the front. A lot of things you didn't want to do, you had no idea that you was doing, but God, you're going to hear that a lot out of me, but God, it pushed you right up to the front. When I grew up right down on Henson Road right there, about 3/4 of a mile down, I was 16 years old and my coach, Joe Gant, said, hey, get up every morning and run to school so we'll be all right in track because you're too little. You're a good football player, but you're too small. You're not that good at basketball and you probably won't get a scholarship there. But if you run, I think I can do something with you. So I got up every morning my senior year and I ran from my house all the way to White High School, which was about 5 miles, to get a scholarship. I didn't know why I was doing it. Everybody thought I was crazy. I thought I was crazy, but I did it. And that turned the tide of my life. And when I started winning, And when you started winning, you get this big head. You get the big head and oh, I'm the man. I can do anything I want to do. I can go anywhere I want to do. I'm the man. So I did get a scholarship. And they sent me, Jackson State sent me a scholarship, but they also sent about 35 more people scholarships from all over the world. And it was 3 or 4 years before I even won a race. Can you imagine for a guy that's been winning all his life, could win? So that being said, I'm a 17, 18-year-old running against 30-year-old that had international experience. So I got beat up a lot. I got beat almost every week. I went out in Texas, as 150 people started. I was like 149 to finish. So it was pretty bad. It was pretty hard. That's just part of me getting a big head. Okay, so after college, I wanted a job, but in '85, the job market wasn't that good. So I went to the military. For some reason, they pushed me to the front again. Pushing to the front. So you get in the Air Force and everybody up there whispering to you, hey, Miller, you the man. You the man. So, you get promoted, you leading things and everything. You're all over the place. I'm like, oh my God, this is really easy. This is fun. I get to go back, I'm winning again. But then at the end of the 4 years, you're tired. After they sent you to Alce Noriega down in Panama in those jungles, you don't want to do that no more. But I did. We did what we had to do. And I got out. And just so happened, my wife at that time, we moved to Atlanta. And I'm looking for a job. First job I had, the first real job I had, besides working with my dad cutting wood, was Church's Fried Chicken. And in that business, fast food, at that time, everybody would lie, cheat, steal, and anything else you could think of. So I was like, oh, Lord, I don't want to do this. But I heard this advertisement on TV. Hey, you can become an Atlanta police officer, and we pay you this much money. I'm happy. I'm like, yeah, we're going to do this. So I start the process. It takes 9 months for them to do the background and everything because I've been all over the world. And a lot of things they couldn't tell nobody about that I was doing. But that is what I did. So you get out there and you're a police officer. Now I'm a police officer. Yeah, I didn't tell you that. Now I'm a police officer for like a good 10 or 12 years. And life pushed me to the front again. I made Peace Officer of the Year. I got the big head. But one day you wake up because you sold yourself out to the job and you was never home. You saw your kids, but you didn't see your kids. You didn't really know them. When your kids say, we going to the park. I would wake up daddy, but I know you got to go to work. That's when you know you got a problem. So, but I got the job over here. I'm doing this. Peace Officer, yeah, I'm the man. I'm running the whole city, man. They put me in a car with a tank full of gas, and I get to go anywhere I want to and do everything I want to. I'm good. And then all of a sudden, that thing that you love so much say, hey, I'm tired. I can't do this no more. All of life change. Your whole life change. Like, oh man, she don't deserve all this. I know you can relate. I know you can relate, Miss Buster. I know. I said, she don't deserve this. So you give it up. You move back here, you buy a logging company. And she said, look, I'm coming. I'll come later. You go now, I'll come later. But about the middle of the race, she's like, no, I had enough. I'm through. So you move back. You move back from Ackerman back to Atlanta. So you can be close to the kids that you gave up everything for. You feel like you gave up everything because you were sold out to this job, but you forgot about the family. You forgot about the agreements that y'all made and everything. I moved back, and then same woman that I love more than I love myself wouldn't let me see my children. And I made a mistake. All the training the Air Force gave me, all the hands that they taught me to use at 15, all the training that the police department gave me, it all came out by somebody said 3 words, 3 or 4 words, just a very few words, because I wanted to. Your whole life changed. Your whole life changed. I've been in church all my life. I've been in church all my life. I went to church while I was policing, but every Sunday you had to get up early to go to work because I worked in the evenings. You had to leave at 1 o'clock, 1 o'clock to make sure you're on the other side of the city. I had to go here to tell my story so you'll understand a little bit of what I got going on. It's all about power. So the power came into play when people, after you quit doing aggressive job that requires a lot, when you quit doing it and people don't do exactly what you tell them anymore. Hey, I need you to do this. No, I don't have to do that. Who you supposed to be? And you act in a way that you never thought you would act. You know, doctors call it PTSD. I call it power. I called it power because I had the big head, because life done pushed me up to the front. Okay, Dave, why are you telling us all of this? I'm telling you all of this because for the next 24 years, 6 months and 8 days, I spent in a Georgia prison because of my actions. But God didn't forget about. This is the part I want everybody to hear right here, because God didn't forget about you. As a former police officer, whenever you get in trouble, you're not with everybody else, you're segregated. I wasn't eavesdropping, but I heard a little part of you guys' conversation. So y'all can relate to what I'm talking about. As a former police officer, you're segregated. You're not with everybody else. For 3.5 years, I was by myself. Only people that you talk to is when the guards came around once or twice a day, and when you had a visit, when you took a shower, which was only twice a week, and when that mouse ran across the floor to talk to you. If anybody saw, what was that, Shawshank Redemption? It really happens. I know y'all think it's a joke, but it really happens. Because you sit there and you will talk to him. And you think, oh man, I'm losing my mind. But God, again, but God. That was the first thing I prayed for. Please don't let me lose my mind. And he didn't. Because at the breaking point, when I was almost to break in 2006, I had been there 5 years, right at 5 years. And I'm locked down by myself. I was just about to break. I said, Lord, I don't know what you're going to do with this. I can't do this no more. I don't want to do this no more. But God showed up and showed out. I got on the phone and called my girlfriend, and she said, hold on till in the morning. This was on a Friday. She said, hold on till in the morning. I'll be there. Mind you, Atlanta was 4 hours away from where they had me. So in those 4 hours, that Friday afternoon to that Saturday morning, God spoke to me. He said, I got you. You got to trust me. I'm like, man, look, they done moved me from this side of prison to this side of prison. and then you flush the toilet and the toilet run over. Okay, you clean all the water up. And then the guy upstairs flushed the toilet and the toilet run over. And everything out of his toilet is running down on you. Like, Lord, I can't do this. I'm not doing this. But God shows up. Monday morning, after my girlfriend come out, you all right? You all right? You all right? Yeah. But that Monday morning, he said, Miller, you leaving. But God, he showed up. That was the first time he shows up. He shows up big time. He got me to a place where I was walking around like I was almost free. I'm talking about it was just open, and you walked around and you went outside and you did everything that you were supposed to do. He was having fun. It was like he was almost free after being in a cage for so long. He shows up. Mind you, at this point in my sentence, I'm appealing and doing everything. Everything is going the way it's supposed to go. But I know I got one of the biggest conflicts of interest anybody will ever have. Because how can a lawyer represent you and the victim at the same time? I said, oh, I got these jokers. Oh, man, I got this. But God said, no, not right now. I got work for you to do. Man, I don't want this work. I'm tired. He let me go. But he didn't. But he put me around a few kids that said, I need you. I'm like, man, well, you ain't got no parents or whatever. I don't have horror stories. I had the best parents in the world. I had the best support system in the world, man. People said, you know, when you're locked up, if people sending you money, they come to visit you, they send you pictures, you make phone calls, you got the best situation that you most likely you're going to have. They paying for your lawyers. They doing everything they can do. So I had one of the best systems. But God said, no, not right now. I need you to meet a few people. So I sold all the way out. Okay, let me see what I can do. Mind you, at this time, the prison afforded me an opportunity to get up and teach classes. Every day I could tell the story through the classes. I could help a young man through the classes. And I never knew how much being a grown man meant to somebody that never had a father figure. And there was one time this kid, everywhere I went, it seemed like he followed me around. I was like, oh, Lord, what's wrong with this kid? Is something wrong with him? What's wrong with him? I called my dad. I was like, hey, Dad, this what's happening. Look, everywhere I go, this kid just followed me around. He said, are you doing what's right? I was like, yes, sir. He said, what are you doing to make him, what are you doing that he admire? I said, I'm getting up every morning, I'm cleaning up, I'm being grown. I'm doing what a grown man's supposed to do. At this time, I'm probably about 50 years old. I know I don't look like I'm 62, but I am. So he said, no, he probably sees something in you that you don't see. So I got a brother that lives in Canton that's a minister. And I called him and I said, bro, look, this is what I got going on. Everywhere I go, this kid that's 24 years old, he followed me around. Everywhere he comes sit on my bed. I'm like, what's going on with him? He said, my brother, the minister, said, Paul had Timothy. I'm like, okay, Paul had Timothy. Okay. Moses had Aaron. I said, okay. This kid got you. I'm like, okay, what that supposed to mean? He said, and then it was a minister that got locked up that was right there with me. And he said these words. He said, no, you're the only father figure he ever had. And he's watching you. You know somebody's watching you. It makes you act a different way. It makes you act a way because you know that person watching you. So you don't want to mess it up. So every time he saw me get out of character a little bit, maybe use a profane word or just a little bit of profane action, he would leave a note on my bed. Mr. Miller, you shouldn't have done that. I'm like, oh my God. Just think about it now. Somebody making you accountable. Somebody you don't even really know making you accountable. It's really big. Okay, this kid he goes and he start working inside the prison. He get on the fire team. That is, they go out and fight fires. So when they get out, they go be on the fire department. So I'm like, okay, I did my work with him, Lord, now I can go. He said, no, I got some more. And he kept on sending person after person after person. And then I was like, okay, Lord, is this enough? And every time I came up for parole, they would send me a letter. No. The first time, hey, we need you to stay 3 more years. I was like, oh, man, okay. Okay, did the 3 years. And the second time, it's, hey, we need you to do 2 more years. Okay, I did the 2 years. The third time, hey, we need you to do 1 more year. Then we'll look at you again next year. I did that year. They said, hey, we need you to do 1 more year. And we'll look at you again. That's 4 times, right? 4 times. Yeah. Okay, I did the 1 more year. Hey, we need you to do 1 more year. That's 5 times. I'm like, okay, you do the 1 more year. Hey, you need to do 1 more year. True story, y'all. Hey, okay, it's 6 times. Okay, 7th time, they sent a lady down to talk to me. You get to talk face to face with a situation like mine. You get to talk face to face. So the lady said, she asked you about 50, 60 questions. Mr. Miller, blah, blah, blah. Hey, where you going to live? Where you going to work? How much education you got? All of this kind of stuff. And I was like, how many disciplinary reports you got and all of this stuff. She asked that. And, you know, on paper, I was the golden child. And I thank God, but God had it so it was way bigger than me. He had the administrators, the guys over the prisons, the wardens and the superintendents and the captains and stuff like that. All of those people wrote letters and put it in my file. And she started looking at it in the computer and she started reading them to me. And I was like, oh my God, they said that? Yeah, they did. I'm like, okay. So when I'm going home, Mr. Miller, I can't tell you that. I said, look, I've been up for parole 7 times, you know. And 6 months later, I get a letter saying, Mr. Miller, we got 3 months. In 3 months, we got to go contact the victims, the victim advocates, the DA, the judges, everybody to see that you go home. And that's what they did. And one of the people they contacted was my son. This son didn't know me because he was 4 years old when I got in trouble. He was 4 years old. By this time, he's 27. And the one thing, let's backtrack just a little bit. This son asked me the day I got in trouble, why did you do what you did to get in trouble? He was 4 years old. He came to see me for the first time. That was the first question he asked. Why did you do what you did to get in trouble? And I said, I will tell you when you get older. Mind you, he's 27 now. He did. So going fast forward, 23 years. He graduated college. We graduated high school, college. I thank God he's going to walk across the stage next week with a PhD. Yeah, he is. This same child. He's going to walk across the stage with oh, Lord, thank you, Jesus. He's going to walk across the stage with a PhD. And I asked him, I know I'm getting a little bit off course right here. It's not like I said, my story don't have a chronological order. But I asked him, I said, look, you had every opportunity to just give up and quit and not do anything that you were supposed to do. You could use me as an excuse to drop out of high school or drop out of college, but they about to call you Dr. Miller. What made you do it? He said, it's just something I wanted to do. I just had that drive. And that was a good feeling. Not because of me. But a lot of times you thinking people not looking. He got the drive from, if you can do this in prison, I know I can do it out here. And he did. He did really good. So, but when he told me that at 4 years, he asked that question at 4 years old, why did you do what you did? I said, I'll tell you when you get older. So when he got like 24, he said, okay, you told me he didn't forget from 4 years old to 27. What did you do or why did you get in trouble? And for 2 years after that, I told him, I'll tell you later. No. You promised to tell me now. He was getting upset. He got a degree in sociology. So, but I said, after 2 years of this, one of the counselors said, no, you got to tell him your story. Tell him your truth. But that is not what I did. I said, I tell you what, when you get home, when I get to see you again, I haven't saw him in 20 years. I didn't see him for 20 years. 20 years. Well, 19 years and probably 8, 9 months. From 2006 to 2025. I didn't see him almost 20 years. And it didn't even matter what I did to get in trouble because daddy was home. So it was a good thing. But I still got those transcripts waiting for him to see so he could answer those questions that he have. Okay. And those 3 months was up. Those 3 months up, they checked everybody, they called people, and they did everything they were supposed to do. They sent me to a transitional center. I was like, oh my God, thank God. I get to go to work and make some money. That was the hardest life. That was the hardest 8 months I ever lived in my life. Getting up, going to a job, then having to come back into a facility. It was hard for me because I wanted to be free. But God knew what he was doing. He was preparing me for everything that I have to go through. I only been out since October 16th, 2025. October 16th, 2025. God blessed me with a great support system. He blessed me with a great church. He blessed me with people like Miss Busby and the brother there to want to hear the story. He blessed me with a friend from the second grade that's still my friend. He blessed me on the same journey to get some lawn equipment from working in the transitional center. Somebody giving me some lawn equipment, a zero turn, a closed-in trailer, a pickup truck, a push mower, a weed eater, and everything else you need to cut grass. So I wouldn't have to go work for anybody else in that, an environment like I just came out of working at a sausage plant. I thank God. I thank God. I left a lot of holes in my story because I want you guys to ask me questions. I left a lot of holes, a lot of things I didn't say. Yeah, it was hard to lose both your parents. It was hard. But God made sure I had the right counselors in the right place. It was hard to lose your sister. But God made sure the counselors did exactly what they were supposed to do. It was hard when you had your son, one of your sons going astray. But God was right there to catch him and do everything that he needed to do. It was really hard to live with people that didn't like you. But you had to every day get up and face that world that they wanted you to live in. It was hard. I'm not saying I had a enjoyable time in prison, but God showed up and showed out. He showed up and showed out. Now, I gave you bits and pieces of my story. I know somebody got some questions. Please ask me anything that you want to know. Yes, ma'am. He calls all the time. And believe it or not, he got out 3 or 4 years before I did. And he wasn't doing that good a couple of months ago. But he was still looking for that motivation. He was still looking for that encouragement. He was still looking for that father figure, that somebody to say, and then, he even asked me for a few dollars. And I thank God had it for me to give to him to help him out because he done moved to another state and his car broke down while he was in this state and his support system not that good. And it was really a blessing for me to be able to do it because that same Mr. Miller that he knew back in 2021 and 2022 could help him the way that I told him that I would. Because it was like everybody was calling him my son anyway. I was like, nah. But it was really good. It was really, really good to hear from him. Because I left a number. I left an address and a number. I didn't know what my address was going to be, and I didn't know what my number was going to be. But I left it to my folks, and they wrote, and they found me. And I just got on Facebook probably about a month ago, so a whole bunch more people finding me. And it's a good thing. It's really encouraging. And the best part about life is if you got an accountability partner, somebody that won't go help you be accountable, please allow them to. A lot of times people don't need that, but I know I need it. No, I can't tell you that I'm a drug addict because I ain't never been high in my life. I can't tell you I'm an alcoholic. I don't do that. I don't smoke weed. I ain't never had a parking ticket. But I do know that you still got to have somebody that you're accountable to for whatever you got going on. That is the best. Somebody that's going to say, no, hey, Kent, we ain't doing that. you know, and been, you don't know how strong a rope is until it get tested. And my rope has been tested a lot. It's been tested, see how strong the relationships are and stuff. And I just thank God that God blessed me with one of the better families, and I feel like the best family in the world for me. I do. Man, I have not had to ask for anything since I've been home. I've been home over 6 months, and I haven't had, and you know, that is just a remarkable story because it's some stuff that I did in the 90s, in 1997 and 98 that played big dividends in 2025. I was a part of an investment club. You know, it was, you know, police officers, DEA agents, FBI, uh, mail carriers, and people like that. We was an investment club. And you know, when I got arrested, I was embarrassed and everything. I'm not going to contact these guys. No, no, no. But in 2025, they called the transitional center that I was at, and this guy got on the phone and called his second person in charge. He got the second person. I need David Miller to call me. I'm like, okay. So she comes in there real loud that morning, waking me up because I didn't go to bed till about 1 o'clock. It was about 9. So she was like, hey, Miller, somebody want you to call him. I told him you don't have a phone yet, but you can call him whenever you get a phone. I was like, okay. I knew the guy because we go way back. I'm like, what do he want? And he calls me and he say, Miller, I got your money. Listen now, he haven't heard from me in 25, 26 years. Miller, I got your money. I'm like, man, them little few hundred, I was only in the dang investment club. We're paying $50 a month. I was only in investment clubs for what, a year? So that what, $600? He's like, I got your money. I was like, man, you could have kept them little few pennies, you know? But he said, no, I got your money. And I just found you, man. It's been a while. I said, a lot of years. I was really disappointed to hear what happened to you, but I got your money. I'm saying to myself, okay, you found me, man. You're going to give me your little $600. It's not like $600 was small to me, but all he was telling me that he went through to find me. Then he said, no, it's 5 figures. I'm like, what? This 600 done turned into almost 10,000. And you telling me God wasn't with me? He was. See, those are the kind of things that God did for me. So after, you know, you got the little investment club money, and then you got the job money, which is another $7,000, $8,000, you all right. Because I didn't waste my time. I didn't waste my time while I was incarcerated. I learned about credit. I learned about how to buy a car, a home, and everything else. I just moved in my own place last week. You know, all by yourself. You're not, you know, God is just good to me. Just because my good and faithful servant. And I can't tell you that I didn't work hard. I did. I put in a lot of work. I gave a lot of energy. But the thing I did most is I learned, studied, and lived the word. I'm not saying that I was perfect now. No, that ain't me. I'm saying I did it with the help of God. I know somebody else got a question, please.
So looking back, what would you tell the younger version of you before you did what you did? How would you stop you from doing it if you're working out in the community? What could you say to that person?
The thing I would say to a person is, this the best answer I got right here is, a lot of times a person would say, I'm going to learn from my mistakes. My advice to you, no, learn from my mistakes. I've been there. I can tell you everything about it. So you don't have to go through that foolishness and garbage that I went through. I don't want you to go through none of that. So listen to me. Let me tell you, let me help you out. Let me show you everything, every situation. Bible got something in there for you. I had more favor than Joseph in prison, man. I had more favor than Joseph. And Joseph didn't do nothing wrong. I did something wrong. I had more favor than he did. So really, it's the best feeling in the world when I can come out and tell somebody about it. I will go out there, and that's what I'm doing now, is trying to help somebody not do what I did, get caught up. I got nieces and nephews, cousins, all these kind of people asking these questions. Unc, I got this going on. Hey, let me tell you about this, but let me show you what it said in the word. And then you give them life experiences. And that is what's so fun. That's fun. That's fun to me. I love to talk. And then, but when they see it and they look at it, I'm like, no, dude, you ain't got to go through this. I done been there. Hey, go ask your uncle. He been through that. You go ask him what it was like. Because when somebody tell you, oh, yeah, I enjoyed prison, I enjoyed doing this, oh, I really like to get high and all of that. No, let me show you. Let me show you what it takes not to do that because of the consequences. Every action got a consequence. It has a consequence. So when you have to pay the price, we have to pay the price for it. That's what makes it ugly. When you know, getting high, chasing women, drinking, that's fun. That's fun. It used to be fun for me back in the day. I didn't get high. But, that was fun. But no, you're going to have to pay the piper. Down the road somewhere, anything you're going to reap what it say, reaping and sowing, you're going to reap what you sow. I believe in karma. I saw karma. Just because you think you were so much powerful than God, oh, let me show you something. Let me sit you down for a minute. That was a long minute. But the thing is, when I prayed so hard. I prayed so hard. Lord, before you let me out, I'm the only guy I think in the world ever prayed not to get out of prison. Lord, before you let me go, get it all. Because I'm going to be happy after this. I got more joy in my life right now than I ever had in my life, than I ever had before. Lord, don't let me out till you get it all. Till you get everything that's going to keep me from being unhappy, get it all. Any more questions?
Were you saved at a young age?
I was saved. I knew the Lord, but I didn't know how to live it because I didn't have a mentor. But like I said, I moved back home for 15 months. I moved from Atlanta back to Mississippi. And I got to see a dad that was a worldly dad turn into a godly dad. And that was the best feeling in the world, man. I saw him and my mama loving on each other. I'm like, oh my God, I want this. I got to have this. Yes, I saw that. And I saw him mature. A lot of people don't have what I had. I'm not saying that to be arrogant. I'm saying that a lot of people didn't grow up in a 2-parent home. I did. I didn't have a reason to get in trouble. I did everything in my power to prison-proof my life, and it still happened. I got educated. I got a master's. Did you believe it? I got a master's while I was on active duty in the Air Force. I got a master's. I went to the city and it seemed like I felt like I took over. I felt like, oh man, ain't nobody gonna be a better police officer than me. Yeah. Everything I got myself into, I was like, God pushed me to the front. So, yeah, I was saved, but I didn't know how to live because I didn't have that mentor. I didn't have that accountability partner. That's a few of the things that prison taught me. How to have that friend, how to trust somebody. I didn't have nobody I could trust. I knew, I got brothers. You trust your brothers, but anything outside of that? Nah, man, no, you just a guy. Nah, no, but really, I was saved at what, 10 years old? Yeah. But I never read the Bible. But when God sits you down, you take all other books, but this is the only book you can have. I read it like a novel. I read the whole Bible from Genesis to Revelation in probably about a month. Every page. From Genesis to Revelation. And for the next about 28 more times after that, I read the Bible from Genesis to Revelation. And from Matthew to Revelations at least twice a year. So you learn and you learn and you learn. Every time you read it, you learn more and more and more and more. And you start craving it. I got away from it in the last couple of months now because I need a break because I feel like I'm getting overloaded. But that was the best thing I could do because I know where my foundation comes from now. That's what I built my foundation on. Once you build that foundation, that is the best thing you could ever have in your life. You can build that foundation. You build on the Lord. This says the Lord. All the things that you hear a preacher preach, you don't know where it comes from. But when you start reading and studying for yourself, then you be like, oh, okay. That's why we got a rainbow. That's why let your yays be yays and your nays be nays. That's why that's there. Yeah. Because all work brings a profit because God put it in his word. And you study it and read and you start building a foundation off of that. Oh, believe me, that's when you're going to get the complete joy. That's when you're going to get your joy. I walk around smiling. They thought something, he up to something. When I was in prison, they thought I was up to something because I was smiling so much. But if they only knew. I got free 15 years before I got out of prison. I got free in 2010. I didn't get out of 2025. I got free. I'm like, I didn't, I want to bring my parents, the best parents anybody could have. I want to bring the DA, the judge, my ex-wife, I blamed everybody. It was me. It was me. No, you ain't bigger than this. Let me show you. And it was the best thing ever happened to me when I sat down and got a grip on all of it. This is what I need to do, and this is the way it should be done. You know right from wrong. A lot of people think they know right from wrong, but if you got a foundation to show you right from wrong, that's when it's going to be, okay, now it makes sense. It didn't make sense at first. Now it makes sense since I got the foundation of the word. And I thank God for it. Any more questions? Go ahead.
A lot of guys lose their motivation. They lose their why. What was your why on that? What your
Honestly, Lord, please let this come out right. I had to see. My motivation was, is God going to keep his word? He promised me beautiful ashes. He promised me that he's going to make the crooked places straight. He promised me in his word that just hold on, it's going to be all right. Be still and know that I'm God. And what is it? Jeremiah 32, 26, 27? I am the Lord God, the God of all flesh. Is anything too hard for me? Go through the appeal process and see. Go through the appeal process, and everybody, at every level of it, they telling you no, when you know it's supposed to be yes. You're going to get tested. But the best part about the test, if you pass the test and just hold on, all you got to do is just hold on. And he showed me. He let me out of that joker, man. I got a few dollars in my pocket. I got a place to live. I got more clothes than I want to hang up. I told you, I just moved to my own place, so I got to take all my stuff out of the totes and out of the boxes and get my furniture and stuff out of storage and all this kind of stuff and put it in the house. I got way too much. So somebody on a clothes drive or something like that, about to get some nice stuff because I got too much. God bless me that much, man. I'm talking about I got a lot. It's not that I'm boasting. If I'm boasting in the Lord. Ain't that what the word say? If I'm boasting in the Lord because it was that good. It was really, really that good. It's really, really that good right now. I go out, I go to work. My work is you set your own hours, you go cut a yard or two, and you happy. You get paid in cash, and you just happy. You back home before noon or 1 o'clock. Do it get any better than that? Really? No. Any more questions? The last thing I want to leave with you is when I was a police officer, they went to this conference up in Chicago. Chicago is one of the worst, got some of the worst gang problems in all of this. And one of the speakers got up and he said, no matter what you got going on, all you got to do is continue to paint the wall. I said, man, y'all been talking about painting some wall and all this junk y'all got going on. He said, no. He said, you paint the wall. You paint the wall. You paint the wall. But the gang, but the gang's gonna come and put graffiti on it and they're gonna tag it again. He said, yeah, but you go back and paint it again. And you're like, what? Man, what? That's crazy. No. You keep on painting it. You keep on painting the wall until the person get caught or you just get tired of you painting over what he putting out there. So no matter what you got going on, continue to paint the wall. Continue to serve the Lord the way you know to serve him. He will not leave you or forsake you. I'm a living testimony. He never left me or forsake me. Even on those dark days when I don't want to do this no more. I can't do that. No. Lord, you sure you got the right person? I even said a few times, Lord, do it take all of this? All of this, these 25, look at this, man. I ain't never did nothing. I did this one little thing. And I got to do all of this. Do it take all this? I done learned my lesson. God said, yeah. I said no, but God said, yeah. But I'm going to give you beautiful ashes. I'm going to give you whatever you need. I'm going to take care of all of your needs. I just thank God for it. I thank God for it. Continue to paint the wall. Continue to serve the Lord. Continue to do what you know in your heart is right. If you don't know, you got people that do. Ask somebody. Ask somebody and enjoy it. Enjoy the life that he's put before you because you was put here to enjoy your life. It ain't that bad. The thing is, one of the counselors when I was in the prison, that was a big help to me. She always said, it ain't that serious. You have a thought buster, something to get you back on track. Mine is but God. Hers was it ain't that serious. No matter what it is, it ain't that serious. And get you back on track. Anything trying to get you upset, it ain't that serious. But God will show up and he'll show out.